Good afternoon, welcome. This afternoon, Sunday afternoon, and this afternoon I'm just doing a little process you can do for yourself to get yourself in touch with your inner child through art. Now, it's a fun process, and to do this, you'll need to gather a few things together. Firstly, so you'll need your journal, either a piece of paper, a sketch pad, some paints or pastels or colouring in pencils or just sketch pencils. If you want to, you can pause the video here while you go and collect those things, and just have them ready beside you. And what we're going to do is we're going to put ourselves into a meditative state, connect with our inner child. And remember, your inner child may be either male or female. It may not necessarily be the same gender as you when you come to connect with your inner child at any particular time. Because we both have masculine and feminine qualities and they need to be balanced, sometimes it'll be the male side of your inner child that will present itself, and other times it will be the female. That's okay, whatever it is, that's fine. So first of all, when you've got everything all ready, you put yourself into a meditative state. You take 3 nice deep breaths in through your mouth. And again, breathing that breath right down into your belly. Feel your belly expand. And release. And again. Now gently shut your eyes and continue to breathe and connect in with your inner child. Okay, so your inner child is in the root chakra area. So you connect with that inner child, that energy. And while you're connecting, you just ask your inner child how it's feeling. Is it happy? Is it sad? Is it scared? And as you do that, just ask that your inner child present her or himself to you through art. Just continue to breathe nice and easily. And when you open your eyes, just take your piece of paper and put it down in front of you. And just close your hands, take a few deep breaths and put your hands on the paper and connect with your inner child and ask it to be presented there. Don't worry about whether you think you can't draw or you can't paint. Just let that energy flow through you and your inner child will present itself on the paper. So you can take your time with this, just keep breathing, keep talking to your inner child, ask it how it's feeling and what it needs from you, what it needs to do. Hands on the paper. Feel the energy running through your arms and down into that paper, down from your root and sacral chakra, running all the way through to the paper. When you're ready, just open up your eyes and take your paints or your pencils or whatever it is that you're using today. Take them out and just start to use them. So if it's paints you're using, if it's watercolours, dip it in the water, then on your paints, and just put it onto the paper, however it is, and put those feelings in, how your inner child is feeling, what it needs. Is he or she happy? Are they sad? Are they really scared? Are they feeling bound and not able to express themselves? Are they feeling like singing or dancing or running around or skipping or leapfrogging? Or are they stuck in a corner, feeling really abandoned and frightened? Just let that feeling flow. You've got your paints all ready. Start to paint it or draw it or colour it with coloured pencils or pastels or whatever, and start to present your inner child on this page, and just let the feelings flow through. Don't worry, don't be critical of your drawing or your painting or what's happening. Just let it happen, and you'll be amazed at what you'll produce in the end. But the main thing is that you're expressing how your inner child feels. So continue to do that. Just take your time, and I'll keep talking while you're working on your painting or your drawing or whatever, while you're working on your connection with your inner child. So it's a good idea to do this periodically and touch in with your inner child and see how they're feeling, because how they're feeling will change depending on different circumstances in your life, by triggers, by your feelings of abandonment as a child that'll raise up now and then. So it's a really good idea to touch base and see what your inner child wants. And you'll journal in your journal. You'll head the date when you're finished. You'll head the date, and it'll be the date and what my inner child needs at the moment, expressed to me in art. And then you'll do, when you've finished your painting, you'll go back to the journal and you'll look at what your inner child's like and what he or she is expressing, and letting you know whether they want to come out and play, or whether they need you to give them a big hug, or whether they just need you to let them know that you really love them and you're there for them and you'll never abandon them. So you continue on with your painting and you just let those feelings flow out. And then when you've done yours, I've done mine, and I'll just show you. My inner child is rather happy and she's skipping. She's wanting to play. She's happy and she's wanting to play. If I do this process another day, it may be a totally different story. She may be sad. She may really need a hug. So I do a series of different ones at different times. I've got a couple of just sketches that I've done at different times, really rough. Don't worry about feeling that your artwork's not good enough. It doesn't really matter. It's just expressing the feeling. You see, this one's feeling really abandoned and scared and frightened. This one's wanting to jump for joy. So you just express whatever's coming through, and you'll be amazed at what you do in the way of art. So once you finish that, just put it in front of you and have a really good look at it. Have your journal beside you, and then write down under your heading what it is your inner child is asking you to do for it. Just write a little list down on the page and feel that within your root and sacral chakras. Feel it down there in those lower chakras, and then write it all down on the paper as to what your inner child's asking you. So you write a list. You can number it if you want to. If not, just write it down. And once you've done that list, you can put it aside for a little while and then later on in the day or tomorrow. Just go through it and see what you can think you can do that will achieve what your little inner child wants. If your inner child wants you to come out and play, it doesn't matter if you go skipping up the street or you go and visit a playground, a kid's playground, and swing on the swing. If it wants you to sing and dance, do that. Whatever your inner child is asking you to do, that's come through that art, just go ahead and do it and tick it off as you've done it. And just see how amazing it feels when you've given your inner child what it needs. It's a really, really liberating process, and you'll be amazed at the quality of the artwork you produce and how satisfying it is to be able to do that. It's really a lovely process to do. It's creative and it's liberating and it's releasing. And so, for instance, if your inner child is sad and it needs you to hold it and it wants to cry, then let it cry. Go to a quiet space and give yourself a hug, a big hug, and pass that through to your inner child. And if it needs to nestle into you and cry, then let it. If it needs to go and play on the swings or sing and dance or connect with other kids or other people in a fun way, then let it do it. And release that pent-up energy and just find a creative way to fill out that list, to fill in the things that your inner child is asking you to do, because it's really rewarding. And then once your inner child is happy, then that's fine. And just remember, it'll change from time to time. It's good to do this periodically. And as I say, sometimes it'll be a female, sometimes it'll be a male, regardless of what gender you are, because it's about our inner child still has to balance the masculine and feminine aspects of ourselves. So sometimes the masculine element will be much more dominant, and other times the female energy will be dominant. So you just allow that energy to come through and to balance it and fill your inner child's needs. And that way you'll be balanced and grounded, and your inner child will be really happy and you'll be happy. And your inner child is a part of us. It's constantly there, and we often ignore our inner child, just the same as we have an inner critic. Your inner critic quite possibly will pop up when you're doing this exercise. Push it out of the side, push it away. Tell it off if you need to make it go. It's not about how fantastic a drawing you do or a sketch or a painting or whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's about you expressing through art and allowing your inner child to express itself. Your drawings possibly will be very childlike and you might draw stick figures or whatever. It doesn't really matter. You might be really surprised at what you do produce. But don't let that inner critic come in and dampen the process. If you feel that inner critic raising up, just tell it off, tell it to leave, and continue on with what you're doing and let your inner child express yourself. Okay, well, that's it. That's mine. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it the thumbs up, subscribe and share, and I'll be back tomorrow morning to do the daily reading. Hope you enjoyed that little process. Lots of love and light. Love and blessings, Kat.